Today, I am speaking to you because, through much effort and many sacrifices, we have held firm. Our defense and security forces have paid a heavy price. Regarding the Sahel and the AES Confederation specifically, I would like to remind you who the actors are behind the insecurity we are facing today. These actors are none other than France, accompanied by the European Union and, to a lesser extent, the former American administration. France, in particular, has used various means to destabilize us. You may recall July 26, 2023, the date of the revolution in Niger. 2 days later, President Emmanuel Macron convened a defense council on the situation in Niger, with the stated objective of restoring Mohamed Bazoum to power, even using ECOWAS as a pressure tool. Today, I am speaking to you because, through much effort and many sacrifices, we have held firm. Our defense and security forces have paid a heavy price. Regarding the Sahel and the AES Confederation specifically, I would like to remind you who the actors are behind the insecurity we are facing today. These actors are none other than France, accompanied by the European Union and, to a lesser extent, the former American administration. France, in particular, has used various means to destabilize us. You may recall July 26, 2023, the date of the revolution in Niger. 2 days later, President Emmanuel Macron convened a defense council on the situation in Niger, with the stated objective of restoring Mohamed Bazoum to power, even using ECOWAS as a pressure tool. The French regime even created cells to develop destabilization strategies. I explained this during my interview on December 25, 2024. The first cell was assigned to Jean-Marie Bockel, assisted by senior French officers such as David Paoloski and Paul Menon Bertheux. Their mission, to prevent the contamination of the events in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger from spreading to other African countries. France has a military presence in 5 African countries: Chad, Côte d'Ivoire, Gabon, Senegal, and Djibouti. But it plans to expand this presence to 15 countries, despite official denials. This is a historical reality. Emmanuel Macron himself confirmed it. Africans must understand that France will pursue its ambitions even if it takes 100 years. A French general once declared in Abèche, "We were in Africa 200 years ago, we left 60 years ago, and now that we are back, we must stay for a century." These are not idle words. General Lecointre recently stated that they might even have to cross the Mediterranean to reconquer Africa, because without Africa, France and Europe are doomed to suffer. These are deliberate and strategic statements, unlike in our African countries, where some leaders sacrifice their people for a 3rd or 4th term in office. In 2024, after the Bockel cell, France set up a second cell called the Élysée Sahel cell, led by Christophe Guilhou, former ambassador to Cameroon, who was appointed special envoy for the Sahel. He designated Jeremy Robert, Africa advisor at the Élysée, to head this cell. This cell includes the French DGSC, the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, and a geopolitical office within the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This cell would have unlimited funds to amplify and manipulate any event occurring within the Confederation, even those that might not have happened in Niger itself. This, dear citizens, is the scale of the security challenges we face. We must remain vigilant, united, and aware of these geopolitical stakes in order to safeguard our sovereignty and stability.
We bring you an exclusive interview with President Abderrahmane Tchiani, focusing on the security situation in Niger and the broader AES Confederation. During the interview, the President expressed gratitude to the people of Niger and the entire AES Confederation for their resilience in the face of ongoing security challenges. He also extended condolences to the families of civilian and military victims who have lost their lives due to acts of terrorism and other forms of violence. The president acknowledged that the Sahel region has been grappling with significant security issues for several years, primarily linked to terrorism. While notable progress has been made, he emphasized that much remains to be done. He attributed the complexity of the problem to the interference of foreign powers seeking to reclaim lost privileges and advance their geopolitical and geostrategic interests. To help citizens understand the context, the president offered a historical perspective. He recalled the 1979 hostage crisis at the Grand Mosque in Mecca, where France had offered assistance that was ultimately rejected by Saudi authorities in favor of Pakistani special forces. He noted that this event marked the beginning of a broader plot that would later spread across several countries. In 1980, the conflict shifted to Afghanistan, where Western powers pursued their interests until 1986. After Afghanistan, instability spread to Iraq and later to Syria, with catastrophic consequences for local populations. The president pointed to Libya, located just across Niger's northern border, as another example of Western intervention and its destabilizing effects. He lamented that many African countries did not raise their voices against these actions. The president credited Niger's defense and security forces with making significant sacrifices to protect the country. He warned, however, that the threats in the Sahel are not just local but involve powerful international actors. He identified France, the European Union, and the former U.S. administration as key players behind destabilizing efforts in the region. He cited France's response just 2 days after the July 26, 2023, revolution in Niger, when President Emmanuel Macron convened a defense council to discuss restoring the previous government by any means, including using ECOWAS as a pressure tool. The president detailed France's efforts to destabilize the Sahel region through specialized cells, tasked with developing and executing strategies to counter political change in countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. He highlighted the appointment of Jean-Marie Bockel, along with senior French officers, to lead these efforts. According to the president, these groups aim to expand France's military presence from 5 to 15 African countries, despite official denials. President Tchiani also referenced statements made by French generals indicating a long-term strategy to maintain influence in Africa. He cautioned that these words are not empty threats but reflect well-planned policies designed to preserve France's and Europe's interests, even if it takes a century. He described how, in 2024, France established another unit called the AES Sahel Cell, led by Christophe Guilhou, former ambassador to Cameroon. This cell includes members from the DGSE, the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, and the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. According to the president, the cell was given unlimited funds to amplify any event, real or fabricated, that could destabilize the AES Confederation, particularly Niger. In conclusion, the president urged citizens to remain vigilant and united in the face of these external threats. He emphasized the importance of understanding the broader geopolitical dynamics at play to safeguard Niger's sovereignty and stability. That was our special report on the current security situation, as shared by President Abderrahmane Tchiani.
My fellow Africans, today we stand at a crossroads, faced with challenges that threaten not only our security but also our unity, our dignity, and our sovereignty. The recent words of President Abderrahmane Tchiani remind us that the threats we face are not solely from within, but are often influenced by powerful external interests determined to shape our destinies to their advantage. We must recognize that the difficulties in the Sahel, and indeed across our continent, are not just about isolated incidents of terrorism or conflict. They are the consequences of long-standing geopolitical strategies designed to maintain control over our resources and our people. These strategies exploit divisions among us, sometimes under the guise of promoting democracy, sometimes in the name of stability, but always to serve interests that are not ours. As Africans, we must stand together in the face of these challenges. We must demand respect for our sovereignty and reject any attempt to impose external solutions on our internal problems. Let us be clear, the security of our nations cannot be outsourced, nor can our right to self-determination be traded for promises of aid or support that come with strings attached. Our leaders must act in the true interest of their people, not as instruments of foreign agendas. They must defend our continent's dignity, refuse to be manipulated by power seeking to maintain a neo-colonial grip, and instead build partnerships based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. We must also invest in the unity of our communities and the resilience of our societies. Let us support our defense and security forces, honor their sacrifices, and hold them accountable to the highest standards of integrity and service. Let us strengthen our education systems, so our people can understand the historical and geopolitical context that shape our reality. Above all, let us cultivate a spirit of Pan-African solidarity that transcends borders and political affiliations. What affects one nation in the Sahel affects all of us. What threatens Niger today could threaten any other African country tomorrow. It is time to stand firm, to speak with one voice, and to act with determination to secure our future, free from external manipulation and interference. The power to shape our destiny is in our hands. Let us seize it with courage and conviction.
That's all for now on Africa Connect News. Thank you for staying informed with us. For more updates, context-rich insights, and authentic African perspectives, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, stay connected, stay informed, and above all, stay proudly African. This is Africa Connect News.